Hello Capricorn, Capricorn Rising and Capricorn Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting December 4th, 2017. And a quick reminder for all of you Capricorns out there, remember if you ever want to get a session, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. A lot of people have been sending messages here, the inbox on Scarlet Moon YouTube pages and on my blog, and Scarlet Moon Facebook page. It's a self-scheduled program, so while we're trying to play email tag, people are already taking up those spots. And there's a time zone converter, and you can pick what works for you, so it's already all set up. So you just got to go to the website, but I don't schedule appointments by email. Okay? So, what's been going on with your astrology this week? Well, on Wednesday, Capricorn, we've got Mercury recently turned retrograde in Sagittarius, in your 12th house, your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And he's going to be forming a very helpful sextile to Mars in Libra, your 10th house of career, just as he wraps up his term there. And this is an opportunity to learn nuance in astrology. There's no such thing as splitting black and white. If somebody, no oversimplifications here. This is a good Mercury retrograde aspect. In fact, an old prospect or an old career opportunity is being put on the table, and it may actually be something with Mercury retrograde in the 12th house that is actually born of something that you've been keeping behind the scenes, or something that you've been keeping secret, being revealed. Either you reveal it to a choice person or they discover it on their own. But with Mars there does seem to be, again, in sextile equals help, there does seem to be somebody going out to either promote this or push this for you. Somebody who's willing to champion this cause is always a good thing to have. On Sunday, however, we do have Venus recently moved into your 12th house, your past, your privacy, your hidden zone, forming a tense square to Neptune, currently in your 3rd house of communications, pacts, and promises. And with Venus square to Neptune, we got to worry about, well, we don't have to worry, but we do have to pay attention to potential habit-forming behaviors, addictive tendencies, and escapism. And this does look to be like something that could be going wrong with a business partner, or a collaborative group, a networking group, or a creative group that you are affiliated with, or a part of your team. And this could be something that you have indulged in. It doesn't necessarily have to be something illicit. This could just simply be an activity. And it's just kind of gotten away from moderate fun every once in a while, and I think it's forming a bit of a distraction, sort of a preoccupation, pulling precedent and focus away from other priorities that do need that energy more. And so this week I think that you're going to have to be the voice of reason and call this out, whatever this escapism, whatever's taking up all this time is. Because we have to be careful when it comes to Venus square to Neptune. People, again, can get hooked on it. So what's going on with your cards? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of water. In the element of water, the prompt reads, emotions are at their peak. This week you've got to be very mindful in the way that you communicate, because usually with emotions being at their peak, we can get a lot of things done, a lot of good creative juices flowing, a lot of inspiration flowing. But the problem with the water card is that when people are up here, they sometimes believe their first reaction and first interpretation. They don't tend to sit there and try and chew on things. Remember when I talked about nuance not a minute ago? When we talk about nuance, nuance is something that sometimes people miss when they are in emotional highs. And this week there could be a lot that you're dealing with where you may be counting on people or hoping that people would have the presence of mind to understand nuance a little bit better, do their own investigating. With the water card, however, be careful. When emotions are at their peak, people don't necessarily do that. They may not necessarily be so far gone as to like fight or flight anxiety mode, but what can happen is that there's going to be a need for you to pay attention to where this needs to be spelled out. If something seems a bit too reactive, if if people are a bit more in the passion and in the pleasure, or in the rage and the fear, because emotions are emotions, they're all peaking. You've got to be able to keep things, keep things level, but also make sure your message gets across and it's not interpreted the wrong way. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Page of Swords upright. And this can actually be a lovely card because, again, we do have inquiry going on for a lot of you. In fact, with the Page of Swords upright, a lot of you Capricorn people may be actually having some kind of interview, investigation, or probably even an acceleration going on in an interview process or in a dialogue or a negotiation that will actually speed up the opportunity for you to actually get something off your priority list when it comes to work and to money this week. whether it's scoring some extra cash, getting an extra job, or actually doing a publishing project, getting something off the ground like that. The Page of Swords upright does indicate that there will actually be, again, the expediting of this for you. If you feel like it's been a bit sluggish, or again, it almost fell by the wayside, or it's been on a freeze, this is the week we see a thaw. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, you do have the King of Swords reversed. And there may be some problems with an air sign, an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or somebody with a lot of that in their chart. And this can show up where a person is trying really, really hard to defend, I guess you could say, a deep, dark secret. Okay, when we get the King of Swords reversed, we tend to see secrets. We tend to see people living in denial, people trying to control information, control transparency. And, you know, going with that water card with emotions being in their peak, some people don't necessarily do it to be terrible, mean, awful people. Sometimes what tends to happen is that they're just in a place where they're freaked out. They may have had a really traumatic experience. They may have had, you know, again, something push their buttons to the max. And with the King of Swords reversed, this could be a friend or a relative that is trying to, again, maybe live in a state of denial for a little bit, or not confront an issue that obviously demands more of their time and attention. We may have a hard time getting through to them, but we must give it our all. For your challenge this week with fire, the Seven of Pentacles reversed. This is not necessarily a challenge, in my opinion, and I don't think this would be a challenge for a Capricorn or a Capricorn rising either, but it's talking about getting rid of something that is taking up useless space. And, you know, you're pretty discerning Capricorns. I'm not worried about you not knowing who or what that could be. But with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, you may be finding that maybe you've been very charitable with dead weight recently. When it comes to maybe, again, people you're working with, maybe not even people, just sort of chores, tasks, projects, and things like that, investments. And the Seven of Pentacles reversed is saying that this week it's going to be a good opportunity for you to release and to shed and to purge that. However, the challenge may be, again, your guilty conscience. So what are you going to do about that? For your emotions with water and your romantic life, you do have the Magician card reversed. You may be noticing this week that either a crush, a partner, somebody you're dating is kind of taking on a bit of a different personality. This may just be a temporary phase. I've seen this card show up for, again, you know, very short periods of time. In this case, a weekly horoscope, maybe it's only a month. But with the Magician card reversed, it's important to investigate the reason for that phase that they are in. Some people have identity crises. Some people don't like where they are, so they try acting like somebody they admire, that they recognize and revere. And with the Magician card reversed, we are still getting that fake. It is fake, ultimately. Best of intentions, worst of intentions is still fake. And with the Magician card reversed, I think that what's going on is that, again, you've got to pay attention to where somebody is fronting. And it's not necessarily the fact that they're fronting it's the problem, it's why they're fronting that will determine whether it's a problem or not. This could actually be something good. It could be a partner or a crush doing something good for themselves. Maybe they're just trying to follow a role model to get themselves out of a bad place. Maybe in another case, though, they're trying to escape from something they don't want to work on anymore. Either way, it'll be up to you to find out. So that's your horoscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.